does food come from? When it's made who knows how and is shipped from who knows where, it's easy to forget. Not for flock owners. You see food a little differently and reclaim some self-sufficiency. That's where Purina comes in. We're always pushing to improve our nutrition so your girls can produce strong, healthy eggs. Something you're proud of. They are our daily reminder that food is a gift from nature. And one less item on the grocery list. To learn more about our full line of feeds, go to purinamills.com.
Hi, welcome to our Eggonomics. We're at the country store today. My name is Kim. I'm the RPS at the country store. And this is my co-host.
Yeah, I'm Taylor Wilson. I'm an LPS for Purina here with Provision Partners Cooperative. We're really excited to talk to you about laying hens and how to prepare to feed them so that you get delicious and nutritious eggs.
You just watched our video where chickens are a gift from nature. So we're going to learn how to transition them into laying hens, the chickens that you bought from us earlier in the year.
Absolutely. Kim, you want to tell us how you viewers can maybe win one of these awesome farm to flock treats?
We will be giving these away to some of our viewers today, our amazing new treats that Purina came out with. If you have registered or watched the video, we will be randomly drawing. And if you have any questions throughout the video, please send us a message and we will get those answered for you.
Absolutely. So watch this next video on Purina's new farm to flock hen treats.
Hi, welcome back. We're going to dive right into our topic today. So those of you who have bought chickens from us earlier this year, they may be ready to start laying, but how do you know when they're ready and what do you do? Taylor, can you help us with that?
Sure. So like Kim said, you might have bought chicks from us this spring or summer, and they've been growing all summer, turning into pullets, having some changes, and 18 to 20 weeks is usually when we see them start laying some eggs. And the only reason that would maybe change is if you have some of the larger, more heritage breeds like our Orpingtons per se, that might take a little longer to lay just because they're a bigger bird that require more growth. So in that instance, we might see eggs being laid more at the 24 week age. Now, like I said, 18 to 20 weeks is just an estimate. If for some reason you see that your chick lays a little bit earlier than that, or your pullet, I should say, lays a little bit earlier than 18 weeks, that's when you need to start switching to a layer feed. You don't wait until the specific week. Make sure that if that pullet is laying an egg, you're providing the correct nutrients for it to produce a good egg with a strong shell and transitioning it to a layer feed. Some of the things that we might see as our pullets are developing, if you're thinking they should be getting close to laying eggs, what other changes will you see? For example, their combs might start turning from a more blush color to a deeper red. You might see some change in structure of their body. They might just be filling out and getting a little wider in that hip region so that they can produce that egg every day.
So what happens if we have a pullet that does lay an egg? What should we do about that?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So if those chickens aren't in that 18 to 20 weeks yet and you see an egg laid by that pullet before you transition them to the layer feed, absolutely no problem. It's a part of the normal process of that pullet transitioning and growing into a hen. We call those small eggs pullet eggs. Really, they're going to have a different look to them, but there's nothing wrong with them. They're likely going to be smaller in size. They might not even have a shell. It's possible that they could just be the membrane. And again, no real problem there. What's inside is just fine. Generally, those eggs are going to have a rich yolk and they're going to taste pretty good. And it's nothing to worry about. They're safe to eat. So absolutely don't be concerned about those pullet eggs that might go on for a week or could even be up to a month depending on the chicken, and that just means you need to transition them to a layer feed as soon as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, so the next thing I want to talk about, and it's kind of the basis for what our event is today, is layer feeds. You know, how do you choose what you feed your chickens once they're ready to lay? There's a lot of options out there, and here at the country store we have quite a few Purina options, and we'd like to share them with you. So Kim, you want to tell me about a little bit about the Layina feeds that we have here at the country store?
Sure. We have Layina pellets or crumbles, depending on what your birds are used to or their preference. We have the homegrown layer, which is a pellet as well. The decision between pellets or crumbles is kind of just a personal preference thing. The pellets sometimes have a little less waste. They don't get lost in the ground as easily as the crumbles, but the crumbles are smaller and easier to eat. We also have the organic, no soy, non-GMO feed if you want to go that route, or we have the Layina omega-3 that has the oyster strong system built in. And scratch grains, but that's a different topic.
Right, so lots of options here for layer feeds from Purina. Like Kim had said, you know, all of our options are in between a crumble or a pellet. You know, pellet may be your preference just to keep the waste down. We sell about an equal amount of both, so it really is just personal preference between you and your hens. You know, and the Layina products are heavily researched by Purina, and, you know, some of the benefits to them include pre and probiotics for immune health and health of the bird and, you know, good eggs, but as well as our oyster strong system. So Purina Layina has oyster strong system in all of our premium layer feeds, so the Layina crumble and pellet, as well as the organic and the omega. And the oyster strong system, truthfully, is to create strong shells. Make sure that we're keeping the eggs coated by a nice heavy strong shell that makes sure that we don't get disease or bacteria inside the egg that could make us sick.
So the basic premise of this is what we feed our chicks does end up in the egg. We want you to understand that it does make a difference.
Absolutely. So, you know, and that's a really good segue into the next video that we want to share with you straight from Purina Research Farm. They're going to tell you why Purina Layina Omega might be a good choice for you and your hens.
This is the story of two eggs, both about 2 ounces and recognized by their classic structure. Each of the eggs provides 6 grams of digestible protein and 9 essential amino acids, all at just 70 calories apiece. But on the inside, there's a major difference. The star of this story is omega-3. Omega-3 fatty acids are an important part of your family's diet. For this nutrient to work its best, you should have a balance of omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids. Unfortunately, the typical American diet provides much more omega-6s than omega-3s. To even out the balance, the necessary omega-3s can come from your diet. One way to get this nutrient is from eggs. Here's where we see the difference. A standard store-bought egg is a good omega-3 source, providing about 50 milligrams of omega-3. It's possible for a farm fresh egg to provide 5 times that amount. How does this happen? It starts with the feed your hens eat. Purina's complete layer feeds are formulated to provide all the nutrients your hens need. Purina Layina plus omega-3 takes this nutrition to the next level with added omega-3 right in the hen's feed. Hens are able to transfer this nutrient directly into their egg yolks. Added nutrition for your hens equals extra nutrition for your family. Level up your omega-3s. Feed your hens Purina Layina plus omega-3.
So if you think omega-3 is the right feed for you, come see us at the country store. So let's talk about treats now. We love our chickens. They're part of the family. How can we treat them the correct way?
Yeah, so treating your hens, of course, like you said, they're part of the family, so we want to do it, but it does impact their diet, and we do have to be careful about it. So we're going to just give you a few tips and recommendations on how we feel that you should treat your chickens. And we'll start with scratch grains. So, you know, it's been pretty common for a lot of years that people want to provide scratch grains to their chickens, but you have to remember that scratch grains are still a treat. They are not a complete diet. They are not meant to be fed as a complete diet. These products that we talked about before are their complete diet. So everything else you add to it is not only filling some of their intakes for the day. You know, every treat they eat is a little less of their feed that they eat, but it also has a, calorie load to it as well. So generally speaking, we say that hens should eat no more than 10% of their daily intakes in treats. So you might be thinking, like, what's 10% of a hen's diet? I don't know how much my chicken eats. 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons of treats per day. And I know that doesn't seem like much, but here's what it is, folks. 2 tablespoons of scratch grains or a combination of other treats, maybe greens from your vegetable garden. That is all included in that 10% allotment of treats for the day. So no, you don't have to be out here measuring it with your, in-home baking utensils, but keep it in mind. And the reason that it's important is because every time that they eat less of their diet, their complete feed that has that oyster strong system in there, you're going to be sacrificing egg nutrition and quality. So it's important. It's not to be taken too terribly lightly, but that's our recommendation on the amount of treats. Now let's talk about the awesome treats that we do have here at the country store.
Or farm to flock treats.
Yeah, so this is a brand new product. It comes in a really cute bag, and there's a whole different array of grains and different products in here that are really enticing to the chickens, and it's a protein blend, so it's nutritious as well as delicious. What else do we have, Kim?
We also have the Flock Block, which helps give them their natural foraging behaviors, some exercise.
Yeah, so the Flock Block is meant to be out in their coop or in their run at all times. You don't have to take it in and out on a daily basis or anything like that. It's a relatively hard block, so they're not going to be able to, eat it too terribly quickly. But the other thing that we really like about the Flock Block, especially during winter time, is that it does help with that pecking behavior, and we'd rather them peck on the block than peck on each other, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so like we said, 10% of their diet and treats is pretty much what we recommend.
Okay, and we do have some other hen treats here. If you'd like to check them out, come on into the store. Before we get into cracking some eggs, we're going to watch a video from Dr. Biggs about facts and myths with calcium.
Many people think that calcium is the most important nutrient when it comes to egg production. There are 38 nutrients that birds need on a daily basis. Lacking any one of those ingredients impacts the bird's health and production. Now, calcium is a key component of eggshells because it makes up about 95% of the shell, but there are still 5% of other key nutrients needed to make that shell strong. Now, calcium is important to chickens because they need around 4 grams every day to make strong bones and to make strong shells.
And now we're going to hear from our special guest, the Swedish chef.
Hey, the chicky boo, hey, bird the egg. It's for the chicky. It's for the chicky. For the egg. Oh, chicky boo. It's for the egg. Oh, there's for the chicky. It's for bigger. It's veritable.
We don't have any live chickens today, and we don't have any bombs, but we do have some fresh eggs. So we're going to crack these and compare our store-bought egg to our donated fresh eggs.
Yeah, so these are homegrown right here in Marshfield, and these chickens are fed Leina Omega pellets. So these are going to be Leina Omega eggs, and so we want to show you what these things look like and talk about the difference and why you might want to feed your hens the Leina products. So let's get cracking.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to start with my store-bought egg, so just a large white egg here. We're going to see how it cracks in the Pyrex bowl. Alrighty. So there's our store-bought egg. Perfect. All right, Kim,
here's our
let's see
Omega.
it. Yep, let's see it nice and close. Nice. Okay, so what are we going to talk about here? So we're going to talk about eggshell quality. So, you know, the softer texture of this eggshell versus the Laina Omega egg with the oyster strong system. But then the very obvious difference that I see here is our yolk color, right?
Yes.
So we've got a much lighter colored yolk in our store-bought egg versus the very rich, deep orange golden color of our Laina Omega egg. And you know, that, like we heard in our video before, the Laina Omega egg you know, is fortified with flaxseed and a few other things to provide 5 times the amount of omega-3 fatty acids. So besides just the yolk quality, the other thing we want to talk about with the difference between these two eggs is the albumin. So if you eat egg whites, you know, in the morning, that's the albumin. So it's really just this, this lighter texture around the yolk. And that has protein qualities to it as well. So you can see that the albumin on the Laina Omega is a much more conformed, stays together better. It's just going to be a higher quality protein than our store-bought egg white here, where you can see the albumin has just really kind of flowed down into the Pyrex bowl and has a lot less of a structure to it. So, you know, if you're not one to eat egg yolks, you know, you still want to have good quality proteins in your egg whites. Really makes a difference for the health of you and, of course, the health of our chickens as well. So there you have it, folks. The quality of our Laina versus our store-bought eggs.
Let's hear from Dr. Biggs one more time about prepping your chickens for winter.
To help your birds manage the winter weather, there are a few key things that you should do, and one that you should avoid. First, make sure your birds always have access to food and water that isn't frozen. Eating helps to keep them warm, and without water, they don't eat. Next, we need to provide plenty of protection from the wind and drafts inside the coop while keeping as much snow, rain, and ice out of the coop and the run areas. And we don't want any standing water anywhere in the coop or run. This can lead to frostbite. Now, the one thing you want to avoid doing is using a heater to keep those birds warm in those cold winter months.
Thank you for joining us today. And if you haven't been into the country store recently, please stop in to see us. We have all of these layer feeds available. We also have our local loyalty program. Buy 12 Purina products, get 1 free. Our checkerboard day sales is coming up soon. That'll be $2 off any Purina product. We also have coop signs available. You get 1 sign free with the purchase of Laina feed. So we have 3 to choose from.
So one more thing to add about our checkerboard day sale. That event is November 8th through the 20th here at the country store only. And it's $2 off all Purina products. So your layer feeds, start and grow feeds, our horse feeds, even pet foods. So make sure to stop on in between
Flock blocks.
Yeah, flock blocks too. So make sure to stop on in between November 8th through the 20th. Again, thanks so much for joining us. Kim and I really appreciate it, and we'll see y'all again soon.